think this is something that we're missing on a massive scale. And this is basically this connection between chemicals and autoimmunity. And I want to talk to you about how chemicals contribute to Hashimoto's and autoimmune conditions. I believe that we are being poisoned and that we don't even know it. And this is something that I'm going to talk to you guys about that may sound far-fetched, but consider that we have 800,000 environmental and industrial chemicals in our environment, many of which we can't even test for, many of which we don't monitor in our water, so we don't take any steps to remove it, many of which have never been tested for their consequences to our biochemistry or to our health. And you wonder why we have these exploding rates of Hashimoto's, autoimmune conditions, cancer, diabetes, brain conditions. There are multiple layers to this problem, and there's no doubt about it. But this is something that I'm going to share with you because I've been doing a lot of research in this area over the past few months. And I just came across a paper that I'm going to share with you guys in the coming webinar where I'm going to cover this in so much more detail. Where they're in particular how this is disrupting thyroid hormone physiology, not just autoimmunity, but the entire physiological process. And if you guys are familiar with my whiteboard video that I drew out, the thyroid hormone physiology, it's been viewed about 4.5 million times now. A lot of people have seen it. And there were 24 different ways that could break down. We now know there are probably 24 additional ones due to chemicals. It's unbelievable. And that's just the thyroid hormone physiology. That's not to mention the nervous system and all the other hormones. This is an epidemic. Listen, guys, entire civilizations have been poisoned before without people even knowing it. The Romans did it when their aqueducts were lined. Many of them were lined with lead, and they ended up poisoning themselves. An entire civilization poisoned. We, I believe, are doing something very, very similar, and it is scary. And one of the things that we know that occurs here is that these chemicals, when they get into the body, they can trigger an autoimmune process or an immune response. And the way they do it, it's not like a food. With foods, we call those things antigens. They come into the body and the immune system sees them as foreign. With chemicals, the body doesn't see them as foreign when they come in. What usually happens is they come in and they bind to a human tissue. So they embed in your tissue. They stick to it. That's one of the reasons we can't measure them on a lot of the testing that we do, because it's not going to be in the urine because it's actually bound to the tissues of your body. It's not going to be in the blood because it's bound to the tissues of your body. And different chemicals and metals have different affinities for different parts of your body. So the brain is in neurological tissues. Mercury has a very high affinity there. And then the chemicals in our environment they can go anywhere. So what happens is we call these things haptens. When a chemical binds together with your tissues, it becomes a hapten. That's what we call it. And it triggers an immune response. And what it might look like is something like this. Let's say that this represents you. Okay? This is just a shape, obviously. But let's say this represents your tissues. Okay? Tissues of your body. Okay? And let's say this is an environmental chemical. Okay? And let's say it's going to look like this. Okay? Well, if this chemical can bind with your human tissues, which you could see it can if it comes down, this would just fit right into your tissue, it would stick to it, and it would look like this. Right? So it would stick to your tissues. Now this would be the chemical. So here, this other shape would be you, and when they bind together, this is the hapten. Okay? It's this thing. Now, this thing, your immune system does not recognize. And when your immune system does not recognize something, what does it do? Well, it looks at it, memorizes it, and says, other immune cells come behind and destroy this. And you lose self-tolerance. Now, you're also losing chemical tolerance, which are immune-based terms. They just mean your immune system is breaking down and it cannot tell you from something that's foreign. This is a huge problem because we know that this contributes to so many problems. It disrupts our endocrine system, the entire hormonal system. And we don't even know half of it yet, guys. We probably don't know 1% of the problem yet. There's so many chemicals, so many of them have never been studied at all. and we don't even check for a lot of them. I mean, there's so many times throughout, if you just think about the recent past where there's been some kind of toxic exposure in the water, and a bunch of fish die, and that's the only reason that they know that there was an exposure. You can't smell it, you can't taste it, you don't know it's in your water. Or you'll see that something will happen where like the mines or whatnot that spill their or there's a chemical spill or something. Unless you smell it, you would never know it's even there in the water. And these are things in the air, in the paint, in the carpet, on our clothes. These are major issues. I think this is a hidden epidemic. I know for a fact that the information that I've learned recently is changing the way that I approach a lot of the people that I work with. We have to start addressing these things because these chemicals, we know that they're just about everywhere. And we've got some new testing that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. If you join me on the webinar we're going to be doing, the first one we're going to do is going to be June 8th. Okay? June 8th. If you go to hashimotosdoctor.com/TCD, you can enter and I'll notify you as soon as we have the webinar. I'm going to be talking to you guys about testing. I'm going to be talking to you guys about this epidemic and a lot of the problems that are going on. And I'm also going to be talking to you about, we're going to be working with a group of 30 people and 30 people only. Maybe a few more, maybe a few less. It just depends on what what kind of interest there is in it. But this is the program. This is the webinar where I'm going to teach you guys all about this, and we're going to take a small group of people through a process of 3 months of working on getting these chemicals out of their body. And I promise you, when you start learning about this, you are going to be, I don't know the word I'm trying to find here, astonished is the only thing I can think of, but it's really, or horrified, because you just would never imagine the impact that a lot of the chemicals in our environment are having on us. And it's not just you and me. It's our parents, our grandparents, our children, our babies. I've got some information I'm going to share with you guys about the exposure of chemicals in cord blood, the passing down of metals generationally to our children. And we are just being bombarded by this everywhere, from food to the air to the water to our clothes to our homes. It's unbelievable. So I hope this helps you better understand immune reactivity to chemicals and how this might occur. I'm going to be sharing some information with you guys on chemicals in the next 2 weeks that will, I think, really bring to light how we are being poisoned by our environment and by these toxins and these chemicals in our environment. We've got to address detoxifying these things in a way that works, that a way that is safe, true detoxification, not liver cleanses, not colon cleanses. We've got to go upstream and get these things out of the body, and we've got to do it. We've got to do it the right way. That's what I'm going to be sharing a lot of that information with you guys. But anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. Remember, guys, please help us help other people. Share this message. Share this with your friends, because if we don't do it, no one is. They're not going to get exposed to this information. I'm just telling you, there's very few people are talking about this the way that they should be. They're not sharing this because they don't even know that this is a problem. Look, before a few months ago, I knew that chemicals were a problem, but I did not realize the magnitude. And now I've really taken interest, and I've started searching and actually going into the research and finding all of this evidence. I just found a paper that I'm going to share with you guys on the thyroid. When you register here, as soon as we have a date and time set and everything is done, we will send you a registration link. Guys, there are only going to be 500 spots available. There are over 140,000 people that follow us. There's only 500 spots available. That's all I want you to know. So if you get signed up on this list, we'll notify you as soon as the webinar, as soon as we have a time, and we'll send out where you can register. There's 500 spots. That's all I'm going to tell you. There's 500 spots. They will fill up once they're full. There's no more room on the webinar. If we might be able to do another one, but listen guys, I'm going to be teaching you guys all about this and the importance of it. And we're going to be taking a small group of 30. I'm going to be talking about testing, and we're going to be taking a small group of 30 people through a program. That is, once we hit that, I'm not going to do another webinar, because it's going to be at least 1, 2, or maybe even 3 months before we have another class of 30 people. I'm just telling you, we're going to do some things differently, and I want to teach you guys this because there's things that you can start doing on your own. And this is going to be heavy in, the webinar is going to be very heavy in education and self-empowerment. But you got to know that, I'm not going to be doing multiple webinars unless we have room to do that, and I'm not anticipating that at all. And it might be 1 to 3 months before we even consider taking another group. So anyway, I hope this helps you guys better understand this. I appreciate you so much. Please remember, our goal is to become better educated so we can become our own advocates and be better partners with our healthcare providers. Take our health back, right? Put our health back in our own hands. And we're going to do that. We're going to change the world. And we're going to do that together by changing one person. And we're going to impact one family, one community at a time, so we can really change the world. That's my mission, and I appreciate you guys so much. I hope this helps you to better understand some of the challenges that we have in getting our health back. But if you don't know, when you know better, you do better, right? So part of the job is to educate and to help you guys help yourself. So appreciate you so much. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys again soon. I should have something available for you guys tomorrow, so talk to you soon. Hey guys, Dr. Shook, thank you for viewing our videos. I hope they help you out. If you want to, just subscribe to our channel somewhere here. You can watch a video that YouTube's actually selected for you, so hopefully it'll help you out. If you need any other information or resources, just look in the description. We've got links to our website, to our 9 lab test guidebook, and everything else that we do. I really appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a great